Hi everyone, I am your host Sheridan Nichols and welcome to Inside Bristol. We're kicking off today with Gary McGow. Thank you so much for being with us today. He is representing Bristol Organizations, which is really a fascinating concept. It sort of takes after the SCORE concept, if I can say that. I'm not sure if that's correct or not, but basically it really just gives guidance to our community, and you are doing a great job and we're glad you're here. So tell us a little bit about what's going on with Bristol Organizations.
All right, Bristol Organizations is an organization made up of organizations. They've been around since the 1980s. The idea behind Bristol Organizations is a collaboration of organizations in the nonprofit community to provide communications, provide advice, education, announcements, promote the nonprofits, improve the operations. So it's just kind of a general all-around collection of nonprofits. Most people don't realize that they're not just in the Bristol community, but in nearly every community. There's in the area of 150 nonprofits. And so as most people know, nonprofits work on fundraising. They have to generate their own funds. Surprising to some that even the bigger ones like Red Cross or child advocacy centers or some of the bigger ones, they don't get monies from Washington, or they don't get monies from the Home Office. In fact, it's just the opposite. They have to provide monies to the Home Office. So to take Red Cross, for example, any disaster or anything they have to go through, they have to raise their own funding within their community. And so within this 150 thereabouts nonprofits, they are all looking for funds for their missions. Most have great missions. Does the community need those things? Yes. Is there duplication? There's probably some, but not a lot. But anyway, they're all looking for assistance and guidance. I got started with them through SCORE, which is a Service Corps retired executives, which used to operate out of the Chamber of Commerce. It's now defunct in Bristol, but it's a nationwide volunteer professional group that provided help for entrepreneurs. Involved with that, we found that we had some calls from nonprofits, and we found that the nonprofits needed the same or maybe more guidance to run their operations than did the entrepreneurs. That's not to say that the nonprofits needed guidance with their mission. Right. It was that they needed guidance with their operations, their day-to-day operations, their business operations, communications, technology, those kinds of things. So anyway, that's how I got involved with Bristol Organizations. We have found, or I have found in my consulting with nonprofits over the last, I guess, 15 years, it's nice to be able to say that the nonprofit community in general has elevated their game. By their game, I'm talking about their management, their leadership are more professional, they've got more experience, there are more programs to teach them how to be nonprofit managers and leaders. The community has opened up more to them. They understand the need for those kinds of things. The public relations for nonprofits is better than it was. So to that degree, everything has kind of elevated itself, and so the nonprofits are doing a good job.
Tell me something that might surprise you, or at least the audience, about these nonprofits and where they need some extra assistance or maybe some guidance.
Okay. I don't have the statistics with me, but in Virginia, the nonprofit community is the second largest employer group in the state. Again, I don't have statistics, but the assets that they own, the income that they take in, and the expenses that they expend doing their daily functions is a big, big number in the billions. And what most people don't realize is the size or the impact that nonprofits have on the economy. It's huge. We don't know how huge, or at least not in our region, which is an effort I would like to try to get started. It's hard to go to a community or to a city or to the municipality or the county and say, did you know that the nonprofit community requires X number of dollars to operate their day-to-day operations in general? Nobody has that number. And so it's hard for a community to know what's required. And so that makes the fundraising and that makes all the efforts involved with raising money to keep them running more difficult because we don't know what that number is. But there are some numbers that have been done by universities in the state of Virginia that indicate that it's a huge number. What Bristol Organizations does is we collaborate with all the nonprofits. We have about, it depends each year, depends on who pays their $20 a year fee, but we have anywhere from 30 to 75 nonprofits as part of our membership. And as the chairman of Bristol Organizations, it's my job to communicate with the organizations. So I have an email listing that has over 700 nonprofit people on it. We communicate announcements, fundraising events, galas, golf tournaments, job openings, excess equipment, technology items that may be available, office equipment, for example. If someone's got spare desks or tables or computers or something, we put them out on the internet and they get snatched up right away. Nonprofits are looking for stuff to help them operate. In addition to that, we set up educational opportunities with seminars and workshops. We have a meeting every quarter to it's more of a meet and greet kind of a thing so people know who is the face of that organization.
Behind that huge email.
Yeah, and well, not only that, but it's also who's the Red Cross person, or who's the Healing Hands person, or who's the one at the speech and hearing. Who do I contact for those kinds of things? So it's an opportunity for the nonprofits to get to know the nonprofits and to put a face on an organization. And so that's fairly important. It's also important for the community to see who's serious and who's not. And by that I'm talking about the people that participate in the community activities. I mentioned earlier that the United Way just finished up, the United Way of Bristol just finished up a community needs survey. They just happened to have the meeting last night. It basically identified what are the needs of our specific community and where should the United Way be going in the future. This analysis was done by ETSU, and the results will be forthcoming here soon.
That'll be interesting.
For those who want it. Yeah. So anyway, that's what Bristol Organizations is all about. We provide our newsletter we put out every month is a collaboration of a whole bunch of newspaper, or not newspaper, but articles written by nonprofit people around the country. It addresses everything from fundraising to volunteer management to benefits to doing background surveys, all those kinds of things. And so it's tips on how do we help our nonprofits do their daily job. What can they do better? Our website has got training things on it. We've got literally, we have one of the things on our newsletter site is we've got over 100 policies and procedures. We've got personnel manuals. We've got a lot of backup data on basically classes on how to do fundraising, how to get your organization ready for fundraising, what things to look for in board members. All that stuff's available from a training standpoint. So we encourage our membership to go in there and select those kinds of things, make copies, give them to their boards, boards of directors, those kinds of things, just to elevate the game so that everybody is working as a team to do the best they can for their mission.
Great. Is there anything that I'm missing that you'd like to add real quick before we?
I don't know, other than the fact that some of the organizations are still struggling. Some of them, not because they don't do a good job and not because they're poorly managed, but maybe they don't have enough public relations or the community's not aware of certain things. And in today's economy, nonprofits are being asked to do more with less. Mm-hmm. And that's a problem for any company or for any nonprofit. budget cuts, personnel cuts. Sometimes you've got to make the sacrifices, and all those kinds of things hurt your mission and your ability to conduct your mission.
And I'm sure you've got tips for those things too.
Yeah, we have those things.
Really good resource.
We have things that how to remove a non-productive board member, or how to fire a volunteer, or how to qualify a volunteer. And when you're looking for volunteers, they need to be more than just someone who can walk and talk. They need to have specific skills. So we give that kind of guidance as to what does your organization need. Now let's go search. We provide assistance with strategic plans, with needs assessments, the things that organizations should be doing, things that they could be doing better. So it's all about education. It's all about involvement. It's all about raising the game for the nonprofit community.
Great. Well, Gary, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
And thank you, and stay with us. We'll be right back.